Warning, this program features viewpoints of our host, our guest. They're their own viewpoints. These viewpoints may not represent other hosts, other guests, individuals, or their employers. So please enjoy the show. This is our first
Like an AI recording?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a quick Put 'em on the Glass podcast. This is one of those emergency situations. I don't know if it's an emergency, but we have a special guest today. He was gracious to come on and just entertain me with this whole thing because I was like, yo, I got it. And he was like, yeah, I'll fit time in my busy schedule. But who is my guest today?
What's up, everybody? Mike McCarthy from Auto Glass Direct.
So what you got going on, Mike? Wait, I know you're a busy
Not
man.
much. So, we were speaking yesterday. There's a lot of things going on in the industry. A lot of things are unfolding, which was all speculation for a while, and now it's kind of coming to light. I have a really busy day ahead of me. I'm actually working in my co-working space, so I have, obviously, where I keep my glass, and I have my main office. I'm not there today. I'm at, actually, it's weird. I have like a little 2-desk office, and it's actually a co-working space where like you rent out units, and if you need to use the like conference room, or there's like quiet rooms and stuff. It's really cool. It's like it's something that's becoming more common. It's called Lifetime Works. They have like gyms, and then they have these co-working spaces. It's really cool. So I'm in here today. I rushed here. I couldn't find my key fob to get in the building. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna mess this up. And I told James I get on at 7 a.m. because at 8 o'clock my day starts. So we're here now.
Yeah, we had to.
Well,
luckily, I hit you up real quick last night, and you were like, "Man, I'm so busy, but yeah, I can make this happen. I can make this happen." Because I feel like right now would be the time to talk about it with everything that's going on. It was a lot of speculation. The speculation was, well, it's all rumors. And until anything comes to light, just kind of sit back on your heels. But it's been happening since the beginning of January. I've been hearing these rumors. And the rumors have proved true. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, SafeLite is the official TPA for State Farm, where it was once Lynx. And what that does is it makes SafeLite one of the largest controllers of TPA. They're the biggest TPA, right? I mean, I don't think there's any TPA that's bigger than them. And there's a couple issues with that I know a lot of people have talked about. So what I did yesterday was I typed it into, if an auto glass company owns a TPA for an insurance company that, gives auto glass workout, what is that? And Google said that's insider trading, a form of insider trading, because they have information about their competition that they can use for their benefit. And I was like, oh, that's kind of odd that Google just went ahead. AI was like, oh, this is what it is. And it's not being brought to light, but they've had a lot of our information for a long time to use against us.
well, this is a big problem the industry is going to see, especially over the next couple months. There's going to be a big transition. Like I've been talking about to people, you should really get prepared. Try to at least put a plan in place and just figure out, God forbid, the worst case scenario, shit does hit the fan, and they really do what we're assuming they're going to do, which is basically come and take everything. You have to somehow position yourself in a way to at least protect yourself. If you're a smaller company or like a mid-sized company, because I'm sure there's not many. I mean, the large companies are probably listening to this just to hear what's going on. But you got to position yourself in the right place to actually be able to thrive, because I think this is going to be something that they're coming after everything. I mean, from what I've been told, they're coming after, people think, oh, body shops can't be touched. I heard they're there already. They're coming back for the commercial work. They're coming back for the fleet work. They're coming. Their plan was always to take everything over. you know, they have a lot of money backing behind them, even though like they're in a ton of debt, which, you know, and also they want to go public, right? That's another thing. Mm-hmm. So it has to look good for the people that they want to try to get to invest, especially if they go public. People ain't going to buy stocks if they ain't making money. So I think on the East Coast, particular, they took a beating in the last like year and a half because of AGN getting some foothold, and you know, AGN's spreading like cancer through the East Coast. You know, in Jersey alone, they probably have like, I don't know, 7 shops. They just popped up, and you know, they're trying to compete, and the local guys are trying to compete, and the mid-sized guys are trying to compete, and you know, there's more saturation of people in areas. I don't think necessarily it's a bad thing. I think competition is good. It kind of drives things. Mm-hmm. It is a huge industry where there's a lot of money to be made. But like right now, SafeLite probably has about 40 to 45% of the industry, of the market share. And now with this whole Lynx thing going on, you know, this really changed the entire landscape of everything, because Lynx is the largest insurance provider in the United States. And you know, we actually were still able to get some insurance work on, you know, dispatching and then sending this work, and had to customize offers. There was a couple different options to get more work with Lynx. They're good at paying. There's not a lot of issues with them. I know people are talking about the whole OEM thing lately about with the OEM approvals, but you got to look at it from their perspective, right? So over the last couple of years, there's been a couple of natural disasters, a lot of things going on, insurance rates is going on, inflation. So you got to look at it as from a business perspective on their end. And this is probably why they're going with SafeLite anyway, because maybe Lynx is charging a higher fee for them. And you know, I don't think Lynx particularly has a lot of technology like engrossed into their like whole TPA system, which makes things a little easier. And SafeLite has they're more on the tech side of things. So they're like constantly innovating to make things a little easier. So just say the process to claims with fast track and get away from the fax and the EDI and all that stuff. But, you know, overall, you know, SafeLite's a behemoth. The CEO of Belron is just, the guy's a beast. You know, if you know any history about him, he's Brito. He's a very, very intelligent, he's a savage. I mean, I've said it on other videos that I put out this week. I haven't done anything really on my own social media. I've just really been targeting this within the private groups, because I think people need to be aware of what's going on, because I see a lot of people that are really comfortable where they are. But the majority of people we interact with are people on a smaller level, right? So, you know, 1 or 2 guys that have a van or 2, maybe a small location, but particularly like me, and I would say I'm in the mid-size range. I'm not like in that like 100 plus employee range, but there's not really a big range to begin with. It's like, you know, a handful of companies over 250 employees, then there's like maybe 100 companies within that, like just say 20 to, you know, 250 range, and then everybody else below that is usually like less than 5 people within the whole company. So it's hard to, you know, get in the heads of these, you know, smaller guys and say, hey, like they're gonna come for what you have, and I'm just trying to make them aware. You know, this is like also my speculation in a way. So I get information from all over the place. I put it together. I like to really look at things from the outside, a different perspective of what's going on. And it's something I always been really good at. Like I called the glass shortage back in 2021. I was talking about that 6 months before it happened. It's just the way business works. So unfortunately, the auto glass guys are more technicians than they are business owners. So that really does affect how they think. And I'm just trying to make people aware of what's going on. I mean, we have to band together in some way to at least combat what's going on, right? And I know the RGA is working on some stuff. I'm sure the Auto Glass Safety Council is working on some stuff. I haven't been informed about that yet. But there has to be something we could do to at least keep our feet on the ground and not get exterminated, because we're on the verge of being exterminated the way things are going.
Well, I mean...
I'm sorry, you could go ahead. No. So, and even like this administration, right? So I'm 100% Trump guy, you know. Been there. I'm a New York guy. I understand the way he is, because I live in this area, so I understand why he does things and how aggressive he is, and just the whole administration period. I see where he's going with it. But I don't think this administration is going to be like, hey, pro...
antitrust?
Antitrust. You know, he's pro-business. So it's like, it's kind of a slippery slope at this point to see where it goes. And really, who has the money to go after them? There's very few people that have the money.
Yeah, and the people that have the money do, especially since they're seeing the forecast of they're going to be going public, so they're going to have the opportunity to buy into said business and make some money off of that. Then they have State Farm, like you said, they're the largest provider, and a lot of us smaller independents, because I came from an independent, we got a lot of work from State Farm because of the fact that, I know SafeLite did too. They were part of that GPN or GNP or whatever that is that they did, their preferred provider in PG. Anyways, and everybody's like, oh no, like our for sure TPA that was giving us decent rates, was giving us a good amount of work, is now going to be in that funnel. You know what I mean? So it's scary. And then, they have RV SafeLite solutions. So once they get their technicians up, trained, and proficient in RVs, they're going to start funneling work to them. Then they're going, like you said, more after the fleets, the body shops, the semis, the rental car companies are going to try to come back into that market because they lost that market for a while, and they're going to try to come back into it. And really, only thing that I see kind of slowing them just a little bit, Mike, and correct me if I'm wrong, is manpower.
Manpower is definitely a thing. Mm-hmm. But if you look at their hiring ads, they're starting trainees at $25 an hour.
Oh, yeah. So they are dangling the carrot. Yeah.
Now, is there going to be a lot of mess that comes along with that? Within the, are they trained correctly? I think SafeLite has a great training program. I think people bash SafeLite technicians, and I'm like, man, but it's funny. The guys, most of them are thorough. Right, mm-hmm. They do the job, especially guys that have no experience that actually pick up on the techniques of the technicians. They do very well. A handful of them work for me, and I think they're great technicians. And I hate how everybody bashes the guys that work there, but you can't bash the guys that work there. It's not their fault. They're getting a job. They're doing a job. They're getting a paycheck. It's not their fault that this whole TPA situation is going on. It's not their fault if they take jobs from us. No, they're just guys. They're just people just working.
Yep. They're in your community. I mean, because they're everywhere, so they're people in your community, so they are contributing to your local economy, and they do have a great training program. The mess that comes along with it is they get technicians just like every other trade that they don't care. They go through the training, they sit through the training, they sleep through the training, they walk through, then they get out there and they realize what it's like to be a technician, and then they don't care. They just rush through the things. You can't put integrity into a technician, but as far as the training plan goes, I 100% agree that SafeLite's training plan is really good. Their training program is a very good training program to start a technician off on. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, it is good. Then you get good technicians out of it, but just like with all the other training platforms out there, it's only as much as the technician wants to put in. You can teach them, but if they don't want to do it the correct way.
Well, not everybody's passionate about it. It's to some people, it's just a job. They just go to work to get a paycheck. They're going to do the bare minimum. That's just really what society is today, is people just do the bare minimum just to get by. And then on top of it, they always think they're underpaid, but they can't even do their job to begin with and then expect raises, right? But I see guys that get labeled senior technicians or master technicians in like a very short period of time, like with less than 3 years experience. And I think the way they do it is, I know their KPIs probably got to be good, but I think it's the volume of work that they could actually handle. Mm-hmm. So say you're a mechanic that's been wrenching on cars and doing brakes, tune-ups, and all this stuff your whole life. You get, once you understand how a windshield comes out and how a windshield goes in, it's really basic. It's not a complicated thing to do. There's some cars that are harder than others, but I mean, they literally give them every tool possible to work. Mm-hmm. So overall, in a sense, I have respect for how they train the technicians. Yep. Their business model it works, right? I can't. If I was on the other end of this and said, "Hey, I was building this behemoth," from like I always go back to, I got to think like a business. I can't think like a glass guy, right? Yeah. It's genius what they're doing, right? Yeah. But the thing is, now it's time to band together as independents, and not only independents, even the larger companies. Maybe they need to get on board with this because they're all going to take a hit. One way or another, everybody's going to take a hit. Yep. I hear companies like do the crazy customized offers with Lynx and take a huge percentage discount to get the work, get better rotation. That's not going to be there no more. It's gone. Mm-hmm. So what are they going to do to figure out how to keep their staff working and keep the revenue coming in and keep everybody happy? This is a big play, and it's a huge play.
Yeah.
This, it was coming one way or another. People seen
Yeah.
it back in November.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, well, everybody's talking about it being slow. A lot of people talking about it being slow don't know what it's like to even be busy. They're not set up like that. They don't understand how it works. They just go, they get their X amount of jobs per week, and they say they're either busy or slow. What is their busy? Are they making top dollar profit, or are they doing R&Rs in a body shop? We don't know.
Yeah.
It's just people on these Facebook groups, especially because that's where the most interaction comes from. They all talk. It's yap, 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 and then are they really executing? Are they really getting anything done? We don't know.
Yeah, yeah, you don't know. You don't see their numbers. You don't see their. I mean, there's a lot of passion there for what we're talking about. And you're right. If I was on that other side of what they're doing, then yeah, it's going to be like, okay,
Could be reaping the benefit.
Exactly. But I do agree with you. Banding together as independence, and the government had to step in with Rockefeller. Okay. And that's what broke up the first and made the antitrust laws and the monopoly laws. That's what happened. And it was a little bit of this, a little bit of that, But now we're at the point where it's like, without our voice, are they going to step in and break this up?
Well, do they even really know what's going on? Obviously,
Yeah.
they have people lobbying for them. They have money. It's an unlimited money.
Yeah. Well, yes, they do have unlimited money, and they are owned by a company that is not. I mean, they're familiar with our system, obviously, or they wouldn't be here. But they don't have to operate in the same principles of antitrust, so they're kind of skating around it. Am I off on that a little bit?
No, they definitely skate around it. I mean, it's like they have multiple companies within one company. Mm-hmm. Now, you could prove antitrust, of course, but the thing is, it's not easy to prove. It's got to be affecting everybody. It's got to affect the customers. It's got to affect the other businesses involved. It's not an easy thing because they do have market share, but I don't think they have enough market share for antitrust. That's just my opinion. So
Okay.
we're at, like, say if they're at the 45%, there's still there's still plenty there. But now I think because this whole Lynx, State Farm leaving Lynx and coming on to SGC's TPA, I think this is where things change. It's how loud are people going to be? Are people going to get up? I know that RGA's sending out letters, but what the fuck are those letters really going to do? What are they really going to do?
I mean,
that's me personally.
Is it going to make them aware? Is it going to make
you can make anybody aware, but who's in whose pockets?
Yeah.
It really comes down to who's in whose pockets. Right? Look how AGN, look how big they got, how fast they got. They had money. They went out. They bought whatever they could buy. They weren't organized when they did it. They just slapped everything together, and then all of a sudden they're like a dominant force into the industry.
Yeah.
Look how fast it happened. That was they didn't exist 3 years ago. Or was it 3 years ago it started? I don't remember. I don't follow it, but it came out of nowhere. And there's not really any really big companies that are really that operate on that kind of level. But it's the main companies that are getting that are the ones that have all the market share.
Yes, the main companies that have all the market share. Acquisitions, I mean, there's more coming, right, of the larger companies, because that's one thing SafeLite started way back in. I mean, that's how they began, was Belron bought SafeLite. I think it was like 2007, 2005.
Yeah, I think it was 2007,
2007, somewhere in there. And then it kind of has, progressed since then. And they started buying up the larger companies. First was Diamond Triumph, then it was Guardian, then I think it was Technoglass, and then, few more and more of the ones, which is happening in every industry, every trade. The larger companies come in and buy up the smaller companies. And we're seeing those. Are we going to see, because they have these TPAs and lack the manpower, more acquisitions to bring on technicians that can handle the work faster?
Well, without the labor, they can't scale, right? So they can have all the accounts they want, they can have all the work they want, but if they don't have the manpower to take care of the labor, it's useless, right? Are they going to do that? I have no idea. But if you look at they operate on pretty low margins. They're like 7-8% margin, which isn't great. And then obviously the lawsuit, like what I don't understand is they literally just got sued for fraud. They settled, but yet like. State Farm went to them, but there's got to be a reason why State Farm went to them, right?
Yes.
So obviously Solera, that owns Lynx, is in a ton of debt. That was just put out in the Wall Street Journal and a couple of Yahoo Finance. They're in a ton of debt, so they're not a profitable company. So maybe that has some. Lynx is nervous, but you got to look at all the claims that go through now. A windshield now is not. They used to pay out $200-300 $200. Now you're like. You're talking ADOS. You know, most cars are like over $1,000 with insurance, which I don't. Still, I go back to the independents. Like, oh, fuck insurance. I'm direct bill and I'm doing. I'll never understand that. I'll never understand that concept of why they wouldn't like want to do insurance work. Is it because most of these guys, they operate on a week-to-week basis. They have no cash flow. They have no money to scale. You know, it's like make 1,000, spend 1,000. That's what's out there. There's 5,000 of those companies in the United States. So, you know, SafeLite can come in and AGN and all the Glass America. They could come in and just do whatever they want. They have no structure.
Yeah.
Within these 5,000 small companies, there's no structure. They don't stick together. They'll cut each other's throats for $10 to say, oh, you know, they walk around, you know, I'm the cheapest, I'm the best around, I do the best work. That's their motto. It's pathetic. Until everybody gets together and figures out how we could work aligned together independently in the same space, it's never gonna take off. It's never gonna take off.
In your business opinion, what would be the best bet for that as far as banding together? Would it be everybody joining the AGSC? Would it be everybody joining the IGA? Would it be everybody joining another another structure or
it would have to be another structure because the AGSC isn't a business, right? They're nonprofits. The IGA is not a business. They're nonprofits, right? So like they could be there as an association, but the thing is there has to be something else. Okay. Everybody's got to get into the same pool. You know, everybody's got to jump into the same pool. And then everything's got to be distributed from that pool. So, you know, my idea would be something around like, all right, you have your Northeast, you have your Southeast, you have your Southwest, you have your West Coast. You know, you find a demographic, you create groups within a group, and then everybody works together. So maybe if you need to service a large fleet account that does semis, right? Just say a huge trucking company. I don't know them off the top of my head, but just say like JB Hunt, right? Just say JB Hunt. That's one of the ones that sticks out in my mind. We need to service that on a national level and give a warranty. But the only way that's going to happen is if you're in part of that group.
Yeah, but what isn't a group like that considered collusion and price fixing?
I mean, if SafeLite could be a TPA.
No.
No, I don't know the laws about it. That's just how I think. It's not. Yeah. I'm not saying that would work. Yeah. But I'm saying that's just an idea around what would work.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. If SafeLite can be a TPA, why can't we do this? But I know I've brought that up in the past to people, and they're like, oh, no, you can't do that because SafeLite will come after you, or these bigger companies come after you for price fixing and collusion.
But how is that price fixing? This starts at like, there's multiple levels to this, right? So we could talk collusion all day. Yeah, You know, I've experienced it multiple times just trying to buy glass. Yeah. But everything is fixed from one way or another. So it goes, you know, it's from the suppliers to the big companies to the urethane companies. Everybody colludes together.
Yes.
No, at period the end.
Yeah.
Period the end. No matter how you put it, however you want to think about it, they all collude together. They all help each other. I've had migrant in the past when I put in for a price match say, well, PGW doesn't have it at that price. So how would they know PGW didn't have it at that price?
Yeah.
They have PGW's pricing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not Pilkington's price. Do they have Pilkington's pricing? So then why would they have that in the first place? Yeah. But then it goes back to NAGS. What is NAGS? Yeah. Right? NAGS is the one dictating our pricing. Yep. But it takes them forever to update it. Like, who owns NAGS?
Yeah, I mean,
do you know who owns NAGS?
Mitchell,
who owns Mitchell? Who owns Mitchell?
BlackRock.
And who else? You're forgetting about somebody else. H&F.
H&F,
right?
Yep.
H&F, all private equity, right?
Yep.
Who owns SafeLite?
It's a like four
combination, right?
Yeah, it's a combination of 4 different companies, which is like BlackRock,
BlackRock, H&F is in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how's that not collusion? Wait, hold on. I'm pretty sure H&F has a piece of Driven Brands too.
Yes, they do.
Right? They do, right?
Yep.
All right. So you could just go down the list of the private equity that has a piece of everybody, right?
I guess. Okay. I don't have that 100% information, but if you do an internet search, that's what you come up with.
Oh, that's what you come up with, right? So, like, how is that not illegal?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating.
It's a slippery slope, right?
It is.
But on our level, really, it's not much of our concern. But now it's our concern because of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because if they come in and SafeLite pulls the same thing they did with all the other insurance carriers, all the State Farm work's going to dry up. Yeah. There's going to people go out of business. I guarantee you in the next by the end of this year, there's going to be guys going down. 100%. People are going to get exterminated. They're not going to exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's just it's life. That's just how it works.
Yeah, and SGC says they'll give you X amount off of nags. They'll give you X amount off of your labor. They'll only pay you so much for each part, right? And you can negotiate that a little bit, I guess. But the thing of it is they're not doing the work for that price either. But it's all going to.
I don't believe that. I don't believe
really?
that.
Okay.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think that's just rumors.
Okay.
I think they're doing the same pricing. I don't, maybe there's an administration fee for the TPA, right? They got to pay their people. So yeah. I don't think they're charging more. I really don't. Okay. I know people assume that, but I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Like you don't understand, this is a shitstorm.
Yeah.
Between the tariffs with the glass, nags never changing their pricing, SafeLite taking the TPA for the largest insurance provider. It's a shitstorm. This is a fucking perfect storm. They literally, I think SafeLite has been planning this, just knowing it would eventually happen.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect timing. Literally perfect timing.
It is, because we're so unstable right now from everything, from tariffs to stock market to where our parts are going to come from, because we do get some glass from Canada, some glass from Mexico, a lot of glass comes from China and come in, and those get passed to the distributors. Obviously they're not going to pay those tariffs without passing them to distributors like yourself. You're going to get a price increase on your glass, then that has to trickle down to the people you're selling it to, and then that trickles down to the people that are paying it, which is the customer. And then if SafeLite's organizing all that, it's...
Well, I get it. We want to pass it to the customer, right? The tariff, the 10%.
Yep.
But if you could X around, the pricing is not, it's really 20, it's supposed to be 20%. But the pricing is not 20%.
No.
It's way more than that.
Yep.
I've seen parts on a Friday when PGW implemented the new the additional tariff on Monday, and it's like way more than 20%.
Way more.
Not even close.
Yeah.
And I get it. Remember, they're a business. They're suffering from inflation. Their pricing just went up, which I'm sure it's not that much compared to somebody else, right?
Yep.
And they have to absorb that somehow. We need to absorb that. And now think about guys that have these customers that just say they deal with a huge trucking company and they have set pricing with them. Somehow now they're screwed because they need to absorb the additional 20%. Now, if their bottom line on this is 20%, guess what? Their margin just went to zero.
Yeah.
So this is, like I said, it's a shitstorm. And no offense, I see what Gary's trying to do, and I want to touch on this topic. Like, I've had this conversation with you before. I like Gary, right? Once you meet Gary in person, you're going to have a different perspective on him. Online, he's a D-bag. We all know this, right? He thinks he knows everything. He's just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He writes 17-page novels, absolutely loves to use ChatGPT. He's on that thing hardcore. He probably got one of the other bots, too. But is Gary going to be the face to change this? I don't think he is. I hate to say it, the whole RGA, the board, everything going on, but say, all been contacting me. I'm friends with a lot of those guys. We need bulldogs. We can't be pulling fucking puppies out of the playpen. It just doesn't work like that. You need people that are really going to step up and make shit happen. If we plan on somehow at least not getting crushed, in a sense. I think everybody needs to band together. I think people need to get in the same room together and have conversations. Yeah. Now, I'm sure this is happening already. I'm sure behind the scenes there's executives from here and there and this and that. They're all getting together and they're going to find the plan out. But is that going on the what about the 5,000 small companies? Yeah. Is anybody making a plan for them?
Is anybody coming together and making a plan for them?
Exactly.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is with the TPAs that, they say, I seen the letter that they sent out and it said, well, SafeLite is a different company than SafeLite Solutions. They're not the same company.
Of course,
of course. I know. They're going to stay in the rotation. You got to give the rotation or whatever. But here's the thing that I think escapes a lot of people is a lot of customers, even though they say they want to use you, if it is in the least little bit difficult to get you to jump through any hoop, they're not going to do it. Because we're right now an Amazon-driven company that comes to your door. They open your garage door and put the parts in it or your pieces in it and then go down. And anytime you have to wait longer than 2 days, you're like, oh, they suck. Amazon's stupid. You know what I mean? Or you get the wrong part or something like that. So, like, honestly, I think banding together is one thing, but making it easier for the customer to choose you it's got to be there. It has to be there.
Well, they don't give us that option. So, like, the people that on the other end, first of all, it just stinks that in the first place that you got to call these people. It's wasting time, right? It's 2025. You shouldn't have to make a phone call. Yep. And then on top of it, you got to listen to their shitty ass music, and then you finally get somebody on, and then they question you.
Yep.
You know, and they question you. Do you offer a warranty? But if you're a preferred vendor, right, and you already signed the agreement, and you're on the network, we shouldn't have to go through those steps.
No.
We shouldn't have to. There's no need for that. But the thing is, they're trying to scare the customer. Mm-hmm. The customer doesn't know what's going on. SafeLite spends a ton of money on marketing all year long. They're literally in baseball stadiums, hockey arenas. You can't even, I mean, the amount of commercials they produce, they're on all over social media. They're everywhere, right?
Yep.
So it's just a household name. Their branding is genius. Their marketing is genius. They just the amount of money they allocate to marketing has got to be, just in the United States, probably like fucking $50 million a year. Easy.
Yeah, easy.
Easy. And it works. So when you have, Susie Jane, who just leased her first car, right? And she calls up and has a cracked windshield, and she doesn't know any better. Mm-hmm. So when they say, well, if you try to use this local company, do they offer the same warranty? Are they going to back their work?
Are they going to calibrate your car?
Are they going to calibrate your car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is SafeLite calibrating the cars? Are they actually sending the proof to the insurance company? So, like, the whole thing with Lynx, they didn't require you to give them a pre- and post-scan unless they asked for it, right? Mm-hmm. So there could have been a lot of fraud going on within State Farm, right? So State Farm could be getting ripped off because think about it. People could just be saying, oh, yeah, they did the calibration, and then, if they don't have the pre- and post-scan and they ask for it, they just lose the money on that job.
Yeah.
So there's also a lot of fraud that goes on.
Yep.
So from State Farm's perspective, they need to save money. That could be hundreds of millions of dollars a year they're losing, right?
Yep.
So they're like, so SafeLite's probably like, hey, we're going to prevent this for you. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. So maybe State Farm wants to get rid of their agents. Maybe they want to start automating things. Workforce is expensive. It's getting more expensive. With the inflation happening, the whole COVID reset of society, and not only do the employees suck, and they don't really work, on top of it, they're expensive. They got to pay benefits. They got to pay PTO. So are they consolidating everything to save money? If I was the same business, I'd be doing the same thing, right? If I was losing all that money. It makes sense, but now we have zero control. There's like zero. We're just screwed. That's the easiest way to say it. I mean, we could have this conversation for days and speculate and talk about we should do this and we should do that. But if people do not take action, if something does not get done one way or another, we're going to be in the same situation we were when everybody else went over to them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're going to be in the same situation. And, it's the future. Obviously, we're all kind of scared because it's like, oh, my God, what SafeLite's doing this and doing that. And you're right. Their household name, like you said, Susie Jane, it's so easy. She's getting this pitch. But then also, well, maybe I'll get on their social media and, maybe I'll get that Instagram post and they've got millions of followers. So I'm going with SafeLite because maybe that technician will do, I don't know the psychology that goes behind it. They have people that research this and they know their marketing works.
Strategic. They probably have meetings about this every day.
Every day.
How can we gain more market share? How can we get more people to use us? Mm-hmm. If you look at their reviews, obviously people have a lot of issues with them, right? Mm-hmm. Do they stand by their work? I don't think they do. So it takes a lot of time for them. How many times people order a windshield for their car and they get 5 different windshields? And it takes 5 different times to get it done. We hear those horror stories. But also the independents jump down the throats. Oh, the technicians suck. They suck. But meanwhile, the independents can't even take accountability for their own garbage work that I see out there. I see garbage work all the time.
Yeah, I do too. I do as well. If you especially when I was a technician and I was working every day, installing every day, the amount of people's, just crap jobs that you have to fix. And it's like, well, why don't you go back to them? I tried calling them. They wouldn't answer. They wouldn't do this and this. And then they told me it was going to be like 6 weeks to do it and this and this. And you pull it out and it's like, there's no primer. There's no, you know what I mean? Like it is really just a bad job. And, it's not just SafeLite out there that does bad jobs. Independents do bad jobs every day, and I get it. I want us independents to be professionals and respected as professionals, technicians. But with that comes accountability. You can't be putting crap work out there and expect to be called a professional. You just can't. And whether it's SafeLite or an independent, you have to take that little bit of pride in what you do. Mike, I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this whole thing because I know you from the standpoint, you are a master business person, 100%.
I'm not. I don't know nothing.
Serious,
I have common sense.
Okay, so
right?
you have common sense.
And I do my research and I read and I self-educate. I have common sense. I took going from a technician to running a business. That's what I did because I knew I wasn't going to be able to run a business as a technician, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. Because you can't put yourself two places at once.
And I'm loud. There's other people like me in the industry. They just don't help nobody. Yeah. I help people, right? I like to bring value. So that's different. Yeah. That's why I'm sitting here having this conversation. I don't need to be wasting my time right here. I could be doing something right now. Yeah. But I feel like people got to be aware of this. I don't want the attention. Trust me. The last thing I want is attention. If I could get off of social medias altogether, I would get off in a heartbeat. But the thing is, it's there already, and it's something we built, and it's like I can't get off. Because I have a lot going on, and this takes time. It's even like people that are a member of the AGSC. Like, no one flies you there to go to these meetings. No one's paying for your hotel. No one's buying you food. This all costs money to do.
Yep.
It's not free. Nope. It's not free. Going to Auto Glass Week, these poor techs, like, the amount of money they spend just to get their tools over there. Like, why aren't these tool companies representing people and giving them tools to use at the show, at the Auto Glass Week? Why are these guys lugging tools from all over the country? That's just my opinion. I know there's people want to bring their certain things. You could bring them on the plane. Yeah. You shouldn't be shipping toolboxes across the country for something at the end of the day, just bragging rights. It really means shit. The pay's not a lot, right? The pay's not a lot.
I mean,
right? Look at you. You drove, you drive, and it's like you're doing it for yourself because you feel like you accomplished something. But at the end of the day, what do you really get out of it? Oh, they took my picture and put me on a fucking secret catalog. Who gives a fuck? Really, who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, who cares?
No,
who cares?
100% was for
I'm
me.
a Dow guy. I'm a DuPont guy. Who cares? Yeah, that shit doesn't pay your bills at the end of the day. But you know what it does? You're representing a company, but what are they really doing for you? What are they doing for you? Why, you get a fucking couple free boxes of urethane here and there? Who gives a fuck? That's not life-changing.
Yeah, I mean, I did the tech. I obviously, you know me because I'm 100% behind the Tech Olympics, and it's because I did it for me. I did the whole thing for me. All 19, 20.
But how much did it cost you?
Oh, yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. No, the winnings for the 4 years that I went, the winnings definitely didn't equal to what was paid out for me to go. No, 100%. It just wasn't. But
that's not. We're getting off the subject here.
Yeah,
we just got off the subject a little bit, but it all goes back to the same thing. It's like, you got to wake up every day and like, what's the point of doing this? Like, what's the point of fighting with these large companies? Like, what am I getting out of it? Like, what do I accomplish? Like, obviously now I have something to fight for. I have staffing I got to pay. I want to keep everybody that works for me. I want to keep them working. I don't want to have to lay people off. I don't want to have to worry about losing accounts and things like that. I have to figure out how to make this work. Mm-hmm. There's always a way to make it work. Always. This is when the real people thrive. This is when the real people that know how to figure stuff out. Because if you don't have pressure, you don't do nothing. I think this is what I think is one of the biggest problems is there's no pressure. There hasn't been pressure. Now there's pressure. What are you going to do? Are you going to survive? Are you going to figure it out?
So, we can't predict the future. We kind of knew it was coming. We've heard the rumors and everything like that. Do you think there is a survival rate? And if so, what does it take for that survival rate?
It's slim. The only thing I could see people doing is cutting their pricing, which already they're losing a ton of money just from the tariffs, and it's going to be price driven. I don't think customer service driven is going to be a thing anymore. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's because the entire country is got their hands tied on pricing for whatever it is. I mean, I don't want to go talk about the egg stuff, but like eggs, right? You're going to have to buy them one way or another. You're going to go to the cheapest person that has eggs. Not everybody like me wants to pasture raise, farm raise. I want to spend the extra money because I want better quality. Yeah. Most people don't think like that. There's maybe 10% of people think like that.
At the end of the day, they're looking at their bank account. And if their bank account doesn't allow for anything but Fruit Loops, they're eating fucking Fruit Loops.
Like where I'm from, you make $100,000 a year, you're struggling. You're struggling.
See, that's
you're
insane.
struggling.
That's insane.
Struggling
at $100,000 a year. Struggling.
Struggling. People are struggling.
I mean, when I coming up as an '80s baby and '90s baby, $100,000 a year was like beyond dream money. You know what I mean? Like you were like, this is going to be. If I can make 100 G's a year, I am setting it. And now you can't even survive on it.
And most people start life in debt. I mean, we could go back and forth into this conversation all day, but the point of I think this podcast was just to talk about like what can we do.
Yes.
Which I don't have a solution. I don't. I could talk about it, but the thing is, I'm only one person. There's only so much I could do.
Yeah.
We need to figure something out to at least keep our market share and not get exterminated. But are companies going to be surviving towards the end of the year? I don't think so. What is the ratio? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. We have to see how this plays out.
So how would you like the organization to come about? Are you thinking like someone organizes a Zoom call with a bunch of people to try to start talking? And if so, how does one get on it? Like how would you go about organizing it?
I'm not the person to ask that question to, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know. You know, yeah. I'm not sure. I don't even know how to approach this whole thing. So I do respect the people that are trying to approach it, but if you know, you don't want to waste your time and money, you got to do it right. You know, you have to get the right counsel, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money.
That's a lot, and that's another thing. That
but can it be proved that there's collusion? Can it be proved that there's antitrust? Can you prove it? That's really comes down to. And you know what's going to cost to prove that if it is true? It's going to take a lot of money. The same people, like we said earlier, the same people that just got sued for what, $31 million?
Yeah.
On fraud.
Fraud.
Are the same people taking the insurance company.
Yeah.
So really, no one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares. No one cares. No one works and no one cares. That's
and they settled it. They settled it out of court. And because I like what they said is like, just because we're settling this is no admission of guilt. Okay. I mean, I guess you can pay for things to go away, but usually those things you pay to go away have some bearing of truth to them. I mean, I don't know.
I think what's going to happen is I think this whole transition, they're going to come hot and heavy. They're going to grab a lot of stuff. They're going to try to get people into contracts, right? Which they've done in the past. Mm-hmm. Now what's going to happen is that's going to hurt the other big guys.
Yeah.
So the other big guys are going to scramble. So it all comes. I mean, the earnings reports came out for a bunch of these companies. They're not doing great.
Yeah.
You know, I know everybody's saying, you know, from the Facebook groups, people are crying it's slow. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm slow. I mean, we have our slow days. It's like normal.
Yeah.
But you know, the people crying that they're slow are usually one person by themselves, or it's the one guy that just started on his own. He's like, holy shit, I did 6 jobs today. And he's like, yeah, I'm fucking loaded. I'm booked out 8 weeks, you know. But you're doing like a couple jobs a day, you know. It's not like anything crazy.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, back before COVID, you would have these ebbs and flows throughout the year that you could pretty much bank on. You know, you kind of knew when you were going to be slow, when you were going to pick up. I mean, you know, I've been in this since 2003, and you could pretty much set a watch by it when you were taking your vacations. You know what I mean? Like, literally, it was like you would have a meeting at the beginning of the year. And it's like, okay, when are you going to want your vacations for? Because we're probably going to need you in these months. And, you know, we're going to be a little bit slower in these months. And, you know, now, like, when COVID hit and then that everything that's happened since then, that snowball effect where everybody was busy all the time and you didn't know when you could take off, we're kind of getting back to those ebbs and flows. Now, I'm just hoping that the lows don't go too much lower for people because, you know, just like, you know, you have employees, these one-man shops, they have to feed their families, man.
But the thing is, they don't have the overhead, so they can operate bare minimum and they can still get it done. If they're working out of their house, you know, what's their biggest investment? Equipment.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. These guys, you know, people are talking about, oh, we should get attorneys. Someone was talking about that the other day. Get attorneys. You know what it would be like trying to pull $100 a month away from most of these guys?
Maybe it'd be pretty hard.
It'd be hard.
Yeah, it'd be hard.
It'd be hard. There'd be every excuse in the book.
Yeah, I mean, because they live, you know, I mean, probably like I've lived for a long time is paycheck to paycheck.
And paycheck to paycheck, right?
Paycheck to paycheck, week to week. And, you know, you've got your money delegated out for certain things, and that $100 a month may take from your your entertainment budget. It may take from your vacation budget. It may take
Or your
from,
drinking budget, right?
or your drinking budget.
Your
You know what I
drinking
mean?
budget.
Yeah, it may take from your drinking budget, or you know, that $100 a month may take from something that you just you don't want to live without. So you're like, well, I'll just keep surviving. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And I think the conversation does need to start, and I hope that, you know what I mean, someone listening to this can figure out a way to get this organization to happen between people. The fact that we're talking about it now, we haven't talked about it in the past, I think, you know.
I don't think anything's going to happen.
No.
Between me and you, I think this is going to be like a hype for like a couple weeks. Everybody's going to put their 2 cents in, including myself. Everybody's going to yap. They're going to chirp. They're all going to assume things. Everybody's going to, you know, spread around false information. It's just, you know, usual bullshit that happens in every industry. This isn't the only industry it happens in. And then it's just going to be like, it's going to get busy 1 month. So just say April turns up or May turns up, and everybody's going to forget.
Yeah.
And then they're going to start crying a couple months later. Oh, I'm losing this. Oh, I don't got no SafeLite dispatches. I don't got this. I don't got that. I don't got no work. Oh, this shop left me. And that's just what's really going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to fall into their new normal.
It's just going to, it sucks. It sucks to say that, but no one's going to do shit.
Yeah.
That's it. That's just, I'm not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. It's just, this is reality, you know, because at the end of the day, we all have our own agenda. We all have our own lives, and, you know, we only have so much time in a day.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
To do something is really putting something together. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard.
And just think about the amount of data they have.
Oh my God! Like for
they literally know how many employees you have, how many trucks you have, how many locations you have, how much money are they paying you when they send you the 1099 at the end of the year. The insurance companies, they see all that, so they have all the work, they have all the data. You know, FY won't sell me glass, but they'll sell it to directly to SafeLite. I mean to SafeLite, right?
Yeah.
And this goes for all the big companies. Just data. It's all data. And you telling me people don't share data? Get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah. No,
they're all sharing. Everybody's sharing data. Everybody's sharing data.
Yeah, just
listen. Everybody's go to Autoglass Week. Everybody's breaking bread at the same place.
At the same table, yeah.
At the same table. That's just it. That's what it is.
Yeah, and they do have data. They have a lot. They have a lot of ammunition, and it's been given to them for quite a few years since, you know, they became a TPA, and, you know, and it's crazy.
It's a data-driven world these days.
Well, yeah, because you can market to it. You can market to data. You can market to your customers because they know what you're paying.
Don't worry, they're going to be doing mobile ADAS soon. That's coming.
Oh, that's
100% coming. That's coming. I mean, they're going to just start copying.
And I don't think it'll be Air Pro style. I don't think it'll be.
It's going to be Air Pro. I think it's going to be Air Pro.
You think it's going to be Air Pro style?
Yeah, I think it'll be Air Pro.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes the most. It makes the most sense. That's another story I have for you for the Air Pro stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're going to try to take everything they can, right? Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If you have the funds to back you and, you know, the people to make it happen, why not?
Yeah.
Kudos to them.
Well, because, you know, if they do the mobile thing with like mobile calibrations, you know, this is has been traditionally a mobile industry, and now we're kind of driving it to brick and mortars. And
what's the conversation going to be like that about mobile after that, when they start doing it? Exactly. Then all of a sudden, all the manufacturers change their requirements.
Statement.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. Yeah, we're 47 minutes in. I know you got a busy day, so
8 o'clock is my first first thing. That's why I keep checking. I keep checking the time. My phone's going off.
Hopefully, this conversation just got your brain stewing. This was literally for Mike and I to have a conversation, and we just wanted to make it public because, you know, I mean, we've been having them behind the scenes.
There's a lot of people having conversations behind the scenes.
So we wanted to make it public and just kind of get everybody's mind moving. So at the end of the day, if you want to survive, you're going to have to hustle. You're going to have to figure out a way to hustle. You're going to have to figure out a way to grind and how to survive. And if you know,
and listen, this could be all speculation. We could all be blowing smoke, and everything's going to be perfectly fine in the next couple months. And hey, maybe they'll be sending us a ton of work. We have no idea. We have no idea. No. But you're better off being prepared.
Yep.
Than not being prepared.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if it's a manpower issue that they're having currently, and then they actually have these TPAs where they can distribute work and make money off of you, you are their manpower now. So they can pass you work all day long. You're
You're
happy.
just a,
They're happy.
they're just a subcontractor, right?
They're just a subcontractor.
But I
That's all
do
they are.
feel bad for those guys that have big businesses built around Lynx.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them out there. A lot of
is.
them. And they're going to hurt.
Yep.
And even if they lose 50% of what they've been doing with them yearly, it's a problem.
Exactly.
It's a problem.
All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for listening. Hang on to uploads, Mike. So once I stop recording, but everybody, thank you for listening.
Okay.
I'm gonna go set Killah, and you've been. Who are you? Who are you?
I'm supposed to talk? I don't need to talk. You know who I am.
You don't need to talk. He knows.
I don't need to say what my name is.
All right.